What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and I joined this random server to show you guys the rank system that has been changed here in Armored Forger, because I don't believe I can see this in Game Master. So I wanted to show you guys what items are actually locked, other than just saying what items are locked, because I know it helps you guys visualize it a little bit better. So we're going to break down the U.S. gear here, here on the U.S. team, and I'm going to go through each team going forward in another video, and we'll go over like the Russian team, what they have limited. For right now, we're going to showcase the arsenal, but do note that vehicles are still locked behind ranks like normal. All of them are still locked behind the same ranks they were prior to the update, but the new LAVs for the American team and same vice versa for the BRDMs, I believe those are both locked behind lieutenant ranks. The new gunship helis for both teams are now locked behind captain ranks, but the regular helos for both teams are still locked behind sergeant. And I believe the regular trucks and cars that are in the game are all still the same ranks they were prior to this update. So without further ado, let's hop into it right off the bat. So when you go into a server and you're level 1, you actually have only a select amount of weapons to choose from. So when you first log on, you're a private still. You have access to a standard M16, which is what I have in my hands currently. You have access to an M16 with a 40 mic grenade launcher attachment, as you guys can see here. The M16A2 specifically. You also have access to the M249 SAW, which is, again, pretty crazy in my opinion that they give you the SAW, but they don't allow you to change the color of your M16. But whatever. You also have access to an LAW, or a law. So this is going to be something you have access to as a private, as well as the Beretta M9. Now, mind you, you can get access to these weapons any point in the match by just killing a friendly, which I do not suggest doing, but I will say that is an option. Or by killing enemy players that are higher ranked than you that are using high rank items, you can get access to those weapons as well. Again, I don't think you should kill friendlies, but I know people are going to do it, and I think it's important to know that so that you are aware that in game that friendlies may kill you to try to get gear. So just be advised by that to pay attention to those things. And obviously, you have access to different types of ammos. You have the 2 mags here. You have some M249 mags, etc. Everything else is pretty much locked behind ranks, except for the bayonet and the muzzle brake. All the attachments are locked behind ranks. We'll go into that in a second. As well as things that cost 0 supplies, like here, like you see the smoke shell for the mortar. That is also ranks, private rank, so you can get that as soon as you spawn in. So let's go over the weapons first for the ranks. So for the M16 carbine and the M16 carbine with the 40 mic, you will have to be the rank of corporal. For the camouflaged M16 carbine, the camouflaged M16 carbine 40 mic, and the olive olive with the 40 mic carbine. So all 4 of those carbines are locked behind the lieutenant rank. And so the guys that don't know what ranks in this game do, there is several ranks. There is the Renegade rank, which is the rank you get for if you kill too many teammates and you are pushed back below private. Then you have your first official rank, which is private. Then you have corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, major, captain, and then major. Major is the last rank in the game, and these ranks do reset every match, as well as major is the only rank in the game, as far as I'm aware of, that has no actual benefit of being in other than you have hit capped out on your XP. So going forward, you have the M16 camouflage, the M16A2 camouflage, the M16 olive, and the olive M16A2. All 4 of those are also locked behind lieutenant. So in order to access half the M16s in the game, you will be required to be lieutenant. So that is unfortunate, especially since the carbine is probably the best gun on the American team. Then on the other side of things, you have the LMG, which is the M60 LMG, which is going to be unlocked at rank corporal. So you don't have to wait too long if you are a LMG gunner. You're not going to have to wait too long to get access to your M60 if you're not a SAW gunner. As well as at corporal, you unlock the M21 sniper rifle. And those are the ranks for the weapons. Now, for other things like ammos, a lot of these ammos do unlock at corporal rank. So a lot of your 100 rounders, 200 rounders, 500 rounders, whatever. Even your FMJ rounds unlock at corporal. but it does not make any sense in my opinion because you can get Tracer and FMJ at private, so there's really no need for you to wait till Corporal to get mags. Um, some other things that you do have to wait quite a while to unlock is the 7.62 by 51 millimeter 500 rounders for the M60s, which is the ones that are on the Helos, because you don't get those until Lieutenant. Then you also are kind of have to wait for the M240 tracer belts for the 200 rounders. These are also going to be unlockable at captain rank. The M2 belt for 100 rounder is also corporal, so that's going to be easy to get to. For the 12.7 99 millimeter 100 round M2 AP belt, or armor piercing, and all the other magazines for this specific ammo type are all going to be sergeant rank unlock, as well as the 100 rounder M2 AP belt. That is going to be a lieutenant unlockable. Then all the mags for the sniper rifle seems to be kind of different. So you have a lieutenant requirement, a corporal requirement, or 2 corporal requirements, and then also a sergeant requirement. So be advised of that as well. If you're sniping, you're going to want to be at least a captain if you're sniping to be able to have access to what you need for your job. So the ART 2 scope, which is, I believe, the 3x9 times, there we go, variable power telescope sight, which is used by the sniper teams. You're going to be using this on your sniper rifle. You're going to need to be a sergeant in order to snipe with a sniper scope, so be advised of that. For the standard cowering scopes, you're going to need to be corporal, lieutenant. For your red dots, you're going to be at least need to be a corporal, and for the other 2, you need to be a lieutenant. Again, I don't understand why they did the way they did, because these make no sense why they're capped out at the way they are, because you're literally having to wait 2 more additional ranks just to get a color difference. Makes no sense. Then the suppressor, for one suppressor, it's going to be sergeant. For the other 2 suppressors, it's going to be lieutenant. Your smokes, grenades, fine. Landmines, rank corporal. For the blasting machine, you're going to need to be a sergeant. For the demolition block, you need to be also a sergeant. For the 2 mortars, you're going to need to be a corporal and a captain for both of those. Then the other 2 mortar shells are also corporal, and then as well as the mortar round ammo box, you also need to be a corporal. So those are the ranks for the arsenal, for the weapon arsenal anyway. These are what you're going to be expecting to have to grind through. For clothes, it's a little different. There's not a lot of options for you for clothes if you are not a high rank. So for the free stuff, you can get it private. You can get some of these vests. You can get a radio backpack, which is really weird that they allow you to have the radio backpack, which is such a thing that can be easily abused for your access. And then also you can have the medical bag, which is fine. I think this is a fine thing. I don't really use the other 2 backpacks. I mainly use the medical backpack. I think it's the best in the game for anyone that's not going to be carrying a lot of supplies. If you're carrying the bare minimum of what you need, maybe a little extra, this is all you need. As a pilot, for example, I usually just carry a shit ton of mags and a bunch of bandages. So if I get shot down somewhere, I survive, I have access to ammo and medical. So this works out fine. You have access to a lot of the vest, as well as the regular vests, like these 3 vests here, as well as the survival vest. You have access to quite a few helmets, and you have access to the BDU sets, as well as the green BDU, or green standard green uniform. It's not considered a BDU, as well as the pilot's gloves as well. Now, let's go over some of the stuff that's blocked. So in order to get access to the resupply pack, you need to be a sergeant. To get access to the medium backpack, you need to be a corporal. To be access to the large combat field bag, the one that makes you kind of look like a turtle, that one's going to be a sergeant rank requirement. For certain helmets, you're going to have to be corporal. Here, this helmet is a sergeant helmet. These piloting helmets are both, well, I'm sorry, not both piloting helmets, because one is technically a tank helmet, but I think they both basically look the same. Are both sergeant requirements. This helmet, or this boonie hat I think both boonie hats are corporal, and then also the beanie for some reason is a sergeant rank, which makes no sense. There's no protection from the beanie hat, so I have no understanding why it's such a high rank requirement. The pilot and the tank coveralls are both sergeant rank requirements. And then the jungle boots are corporal, and to get the tanker boots, you have to be a freaking sergeant for that, which is just wild in my opinion. Also, some other things have changed with the arsenals that I want to just point out. Arsenals no longer carry the medical supplies, so you now have to go over to the command tent or to a medical facility. You can place medical like tent facility things at your objectives, so that's not really a big deal. And they also reduce how much medical supplies cost, I think, overall as well, which is huge. But you might take notice that if we actually go over here to this command tent right here, and we look at it, you can see here there's a medical box here, and these medical boxes have infinite tourniquets and infinite bandages, and they have no requirement for resources, so you can have zero resources at a base, and you can still have access to them. Depending on the team that owns these objectives as well, over here on the opposite side of the tent, you will find Beretta and M16 mags that are very cheap for resources. One resource for Beretta mags, if you get 100, it only costs you 100 supplies. If you have you want a bunch of M16 mags, it won't cost you that much. So it's a very nice thing that they did. I think originally I could have sworn M16 mags were free for supplies, but it does appear that M16 mags, at least in this box specifically, are supply cost. But that is pretty much everything with the ranks. I do believe the Soviet team is very, very similar. Obviously, the Soviet team has a lot of different gear, so we're going to go over the gear separate in that video. But for the most part, everything's the same. XP rates have been reduced, so you don't get XP nearly as fast. The supply trucks have also been changed. Now they carry 1,500. I'm going to break down all the supply trucks and all the vehicles that carry gear because I've been really getting into supply running due to the update and trying to get to captain as well. But yeah, that being said, I hope this video was helpful. I don't know why they changed the things they did. I don't like it personally. I haven't been playing Arma nearly as long as some people, but I have, I think, a very agreeable opinion that these arsenal changes did not fix the issues that these arsenals have in the begin with. I think that the standardized black rifles, which is what I have right now in my hands, should be the only thing cost supplies. I think if you want a green M4, M16 or whatever, it should be just something that you can put on your gun when you buy it. I don't think they should have 3 different versions of M16s. I think they should have one M16. When you click it, it lets you choose the color and allow that way, and this add more guns. They could add other rifles, they could add M1 Garands, they could add even Tommy guns, because this is the Cold War, but a lot of people forget that during the Vietnam Cold War era, America was still relatively catching up in terms of its equipment, right? Not everyone was running the same things. I mean, you can look at, things online about Vietnam or even Cold War. There's tons of different weapons they had access to, and they were also still using some old weapons. I think there was snipers in Vietnam that were still using the M1903 Springfield. So they have so many more options they could have, and that they could reduce it, and it kind of would help the supply system a little better. Also, things like just making supply point, like the arsenals, a infinite supply point only at your MOB. So basically make it that if you want to spawn anywhere else on the map, you have to have an arsenal truck there with supplies at those objectives, and you can spawn with your kit. You can't customize your kit once you're spawned in. And in order to customize your kit, you have to be at the MOB, and the MOB arsenals do not require resources. I think that would be a fantastic change because at the end of the day, people are still getting the kits they want. So if you just make it that arsenals aren't reliant on supplies at a main base, and you can't place arsenals everywhere, I think that would severely cut down on the amount of times where you can't do anything because you have no supplies, right? You can focus those supplies now on things like Humvees and trucks and helicopters, etc. And if they wanted to change something like down the line where like cars and that were more expensive for supplies, that's always a possibility that they could do as well. But that's just me, in my opinion, the thoughts on this whole Arsenal situation and the changes they made with the ranks. Let me know down below if you guys agree with this change. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I know from who I've talked to, a majority of people are not really liking this change. But, there's always people that will, differ in opinion, so I'm interested to hear it. But with that being said, man, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. You're one of a kind, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.